New TNA signings revealed. Plus, on top of that, we're going to be talking about some big news regarding the Hall of Fame and who is being inducted. And yes, we are going to talk about a WWE star working in Japan. It's all coming up right here on The Ango Show. Welcome back to The Ango Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, we are live Monday through Friday on the channel at 12 p.m. Eastern. We talk about Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, and pretty much everything else you need to know. So make sure you guys stay tuned and make sure you guys tune in because trust me, you don't want to miss it. It's always a good time. Okay, let's get started. TNA Hall of Fame. Rhino is being inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame along with Bob Ryder. This is very exciting news. I feel like Rhino has been such an instrumental part of TNA's growth. You know, I think a lot of people forget that Rhino really did big things in TNA when joining early on in the company, also finding his way back to the company. Rhino is somebody who is still alive and well, still active. And one of the biggest things about the Hall of Fames, whether it's WWE or TNA or whatever it may be, I love seeing people who are still active being honored, because whether or not you guys take the Hall of Fame serious, the way I look at it is it's a token of appreciation and respect. And Rhino is one of those guys. This is perfect. Obviously, the Bound for Glory show is taking place in Detroit. Rhino is from Detroit. That's always been a big part of his on-screen stuff as well. He joined TNA in 2005. It is 2024. He found his way back into TNA. He had stints in TNA, WWE, ECW. Like, he had a great career, but he's also had a great career in TNA. A lot of TNA fans love him as well. So I'm very excited to see that Rhino is being honored. Also, Bob Ryder. A lot of people may not know the name Bob Ryder, but my early days of professional wrestling coverage on YouTube started with TNA. So I was very familiar with Bob Ryder. And Bob Ryder was one of those guys. He was, one of the co-founders of TNA. Unfortunately, he did pass away in 2020, but he carried multiple different roles within the company. And this is a guy that, if you go on social media right now, you're going to see a lot of people talk positively about Bob Ryder as well. One of my favorite tweets that I've already seen was from Robbie E., also known as Robert Stone in NXT. He's come out and actually said that Bob Ryder was the one who handed him his first TNA contract, which is just such a great story to share. So obviously, with TNA doing 2 inductions, I think this is great. I love Hall of Fames. I think Hall of Fames in pro wrestling are great. And I'm glad to see that these 2 are getting inducted. As far as AJ Styles goes, I think it's eventually going to happen, guys. It's just going to take within time. And who knows? Maybe Bound for Glory next year will be in Georgia, or maybe it'll be in Nashville, or who knows? We'll see what the plans are next year, right? All right, that brings us to Shinsuke Nakamura. He is headed back to Pro Wrestling Noah. I thought this was a very interesting story. I mean, obviously, Shinsuke Nakamura has not been utilized on WWE programming. However, Pro Wrestling Noah has come out and tweeted WWE is now sharing the exciting news that Shinsuke Nakamura will be back in Pro Wrestling Noah on January 1st, 2025. And he will be competing against Ulka Sasaki in a special singles match. This should be very exciting. Guys, Shinsuke Nakamura not being utilized in WWE television, but Pro Wrestling Noah came out and they said they want to strengthen their relationship with WWE. And this is another situation where Triple H, Paul Levesque, and the company are allowing Shinsuke Nakamura to work in another company. And I think that's a great thing. If you're not going to utilize him in your company, keep him active, let him do these attraction matches, let him do it, right? There's no reason why it shouldn't happen. But what I want to see, and maybe this is not the most popular opinion, maybe a lot of people may not agree with me here, and that is completely fine. I totally understand. But I'm actually one of the people that I would love to see some talent from Pro Wrestling Noah show up in WWE. And I'm not asking for something crazy either. I mean, listen, Shinsuke Nakamura is not used on WWE television all the time, okay? And that's fair. I don't agree with it. I think he should be utilized on TV, but he's not. But it would be really cool for WWE to have a talent from Pro Wrestling Noah show up as a surprise in the Royal Rumble at the very least, right? The cool thing about the Royal Rumble is you're going to have a couple surprises, and these surprises typically won't win the Royal Rumble. So why not utilize this as an opportunity? You know, when WWE does the Royal Rumble, why not have somebody from Pro Wrestling Noah show up? It's not like WWE commentators aren't acknowledging other promotions at this point. Like just the other day, they were talking about NWA, TNA. You know, I think if you're the WWE, this would be one of the biggest things you could do. Have somebody from Pro Wrestling Noah show up and have Shinsuke Nakamura in the Royal Rumble. And maybe you could utilize that if the crowd reaction is good. Gauge the crowd reaction. If people are excited about it, maybe you could do something really exciting where that talent who's working the Royal Rumble maybe sticks around for WWE television. Look at what happened with Joe Hendry. The response was so positive that it literally required WWE to keep bringing him back. Why not do the same thing with Pro Wrestling Noah? This would be a way to do it. A new TNA signing has been revealed, ladies and gentlemen. Casey Navarro from First Class is now in the company. TNA Wrestling has confirmed today that they have signed the 25-year-old Miami native now to a multi-year contract. This was first reported by Sports Illustrated, and trust me, guys, I am super excited about this. As somebody who watches indie wrestling, as somebody who is a massive fan of TNA, I like to look at the signings that they make, and I try to think of what you could do with them long term. Casey Navarro, a lot of people may not know this, but we've talked about Casey Navarro on this channel because there was a time when Casey Navarro was working MLW. WWE was reportedly very interested in bringing him into NXT, and for some reason that never panned out. Look, TNA brought him in. He's got stuff going on with AJ Francis, which I think is great television. But at some point, why not the X Division? Casey Navarro would be a perfect person to hold the X Division championship, and I do want to see that at some point happen. I'm very happy for TNA. You know, we often talk about people that might be leaving TNA, and we all know that WWE and AEW do have these really big roster budgets, but we cannot forget about TNA. And TNA, one of the things that makes them really exciting is that they do sign talent that may not be the most popular or the most known, but they're incredibly skilled, and they typically get over with the TNA audience. And I think Casey Navarro, I mean, especially right now being associated with AJ Francis, it definitely has its benefits. But I'm super excited about this because there's a lot of potential outside of just this little, you know, tag team group thing. So me personally, I'm excited about this. I think Casey Navarro, hardworking kid, definitely going to do great things in professional wrestling. And this is one of those times where I think TNA has got a signing correct. Definitely a good move for the company. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.